do you want to hear something of this period of his life?
Yes. Yes. Good.
No, it's finally something we can relate to, no? He had one friend. It was the Gandharva Chitraraja. And Chitraraja, he was a little old, elderly, and he was a music teacher. He was the best dancer of the Gandharvas, and once he was giving dance instructions to his 50 daughters. You know, he was saying, now, here, and then the tal is like this. And then he looked for a moment, like this, you know, to really make the rhythm proper. At that moment, Upabhana passed by. And he looked so beautiful that all the 50 daughters went, whoa! And they got up, and by his forceful, you know, charisma, you can say, Upabhana forcibly kidnapped the 50 daughters of his fellow Gandharva, Chitraraja. Chitraraja was going to do like this. All the students were gone. His daughters were gone. They were kidnapped by the charisma of Upabhana. He was such a playboy. First class playboy. You shouldn't say like this. He was really, you know. He then took them to a secluded place. This is from the Narada Pancharatra, just so that you know a little bit. It's now a little intense, you know, fasten your seatbelts. And he married them according to the custom of the Gandharvas. You know what that custom is? It is an intimate relationship with 50. These girls became practically unconscious while they were gazing at their husband's extraordinary beauty. Soon these girls forgot all about their father, mother and brothers, because they became completely engrossed in enjoying conjugal affairs with their lusty husband. And this is, it's described in quite some detail, but I will not speak about this in great. I will not read this here, because for the purpose of our this discussion, you can have an understanding. He was really thinking about material enjoyment. So once it happened that the Prajapatis, these are the great organizers, the managers, the fathers of the universe, arranged for a great festival. It was the Sankirtan festival, a Kirtan Mela, as we would say nowadays, to glorify the Supreme Lord. It was a huge place which they made and to have really good singing there, nice kirtan. They invited the Gandharvas and Apsaras, who are naturally good singers. And Upabhana also went, he was also invited, and he took all his wives and his many female friends with him. But because he was so much blinded with this material enjoyment, and so much in another consciousness, he was actually not able to glorify the Lord. Maybe you see that when you come to a kirtan event and when you sit down and your old life sits next down to you, and you are so distraught and so absent-minded that you just can't concentrate on singing. This may happen, or only your lips move, but you can't sing loud, and you can't, you remain in your mood, that means in your own little world, and you just can't leave that false world behind and engage in the glorification of Krishna. So Upabana was in this situation, and he just left the Sankirtan arena. He went to another place and he started to sing and laugh with his fans, so to say. I have really no other word. And instead of glorifying the Lord, he had his alternative program and sang what Prabhupada calls cinema songs. I'm not sure if there was cinema in the upper planetary system, but there must have been something better, something maybe creating a virtual world and seeing things. So he sang these songs, not kirtan. Imagine some of the kirtan devotees who are here. Maybe imagine one of these kirtan devotees would now go somewhere else and say, I make an alternative program here. This is Nityananda's appearance day, but let me sing some worldly German folk songs, and make an alternative music program. It would simply not fit. So the Prajapatis felt disappointed first, and then angry. And what they did is they cursed him. They said to him, because you do such a thing, you spread such a material atmosphere here, you will actually have to be punished, because that you will take birth as a Shudra. So later, the Lord told him, after 12 years from now, you will take birth in a Shudra family. Then after 5 years, that means when you're 5 years old, you will receive my mantras from a learned Brahmana. And then at the age of 10, you will give up your Shudra body and regain your original position as the son of Brahma. At that time, you will once again receive instructions about my mantras, Mahadev, or Narada Pancharaja. So yes, Upabana was shocked by this curse. He had been, as you can say, a little bit playful and not so conscious about his life. I once heard a lecture from Srila Prabhupada where he said, if you slip in your spiritual life, you can actually lose the chance for many lifetimes. Upabana just got one heavy morning. My dear devotees, when you look back at your own life, the life before you came to Krishna consciousness, I think you can take it in two ways. One way would be to see that Lord Krishna's hand was also there at that time, even before you became aware of Krishna. Krishna was aware of you and gave you some experiences which made you world-wise. World-wise means you understood a little bit about what is this life and what are the chances for happiness here. It served you well to make a decision. That is one way to look at our previous life, to see the good things which made us, let me say, aware of what is the purpose of our life, or which made us, it just unsettled us. These experiences, you know, where you maybe were disappointed in friendships which you had, or also so-called nice travels which you made, and so on. But there is one mood which the great acharyas give us, which we should, in which we should look at our life, and that is the mood of regret. By regretting the mistakes which we made, and regretting that we had turned away from Krishna in that life, great spiritual advancement can be made. I often see, and I've also done this, that as we look at our life, there's a certain nostalgia. Oh, I was such an absolutely dynamic person. I was the best dancer on the parties which I visited, and my hair was long, very interesting personality. But when we talk like this, we more or less just project our hopes into our insignificant fly-like existence. It's called a projection. And we try to put juice into the past and make it look very, very nice in our eyes, in the eyes of others. It is a fact. A life without true love, a life without ecstasy is not really very interesting. It's the ups and downs of happiness and distress, really nothing special. Prabhupada writes about this mood. He says, when one is elevated to the platform of devotional service by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master, one first regrets his past sinful activities. This helps one advance in spiritual sex. The duty of a devotee is to regret his past sinful activities in illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating and gambling. Not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must regret his past sinful activities. This is the standard of pure devotion. I became aware of this many years ago, that if you sincerely regret, then you don't need the karmic reactions to make you understand that it was not right what you did. If you sincerely regret, you don't need the karmic reactions to make you understand. Ajamil regrets that he gave up a sattvic life and wasted his opportunity. He says, I'm a shameless cheater who has killed his Brahminical culture. Indeed, I am sin personified. Where am I in comparison to the all-auspicious chanting of the holy name of Lord Narayan? I think it is important that we look at material life with the eyes of reality, not with the eyes of projection and imagination. This material life is not the real life of the eternally blissful soul. This material life is not the real place for us. This material life is not the place where we have the real relationship, that one relationship with Krishna, and so on. Therefore, we should always appreciate the opportunity. We must be conscious of the Prabhupada says, of the difference between our present and past conditions, and should always be very careful not to fall from the most exalted life. So when Upabana received that curse, that you were here you were invited for a festival, and instead you just broke all the principles here. You must learn now. You must get your karmic reactions. Upabana felt. Now the curse took effect. He died, and from a Gandharva with a lot of awareness, sensual powers, and so on, he had to take a human birth, which is really a restriction. And he was born as a son of a Shudrani. This Shudrani was serving at one Brahmin school, and we don't really know who's the